You studied a lot in college. Can you tell me where you studied?
Well, I always studied in the same spot in the library. There was one booth. That's where I always did my studying.
Well, you could have learned a lot more if you just mixed up your studying locations. Let me tell you about this. This video is on a research-based approach to learning more by mixing up your studying. This is something called encoding variability, and we'll see this in action. So a common question that students ask is, should I study in the same place, or should I study in different places? So for example, you might have one dedicated space that you study in, or perhaps you might mix up your study locations. That's a really good question. Well, here's some advice from the internet. There's one site says best ways to study for an economics exam. Try to study in the same place at the same time every day. Here's another website that says study in the same location. And just to kind of highlight what this says, it says you can actually remember better if you learn something in the same location. Your environment plays a huge role in what you remember and how you remember. People learn better in a routine location is the title of that section. And the answer to that is this is actually bad advice. It's true only if you are tested there in that same location. So let me describe this. Let me talk about how memory works. So let's say you want to learn some new information in a classroom or what have you, and you're trying to get that information. And well, with that memory of whatever information you're trying to acquire comes the information about when you learned it. Also, who was around you, the context of that. Whether you're in a good mood or a bad mood or whatever kind of your mood goes in with that memory. Even your relaxation state or state of alertness is part of that. And of course, location information is part of the context of that memory. So with that content, all of these factors, these other factors, are encoded or remembered with it, even if you're not aware of it. So what we want to think about is, does this work if we match our study conditions to our testing conditions? So let's say we study in the same place, and in fact, if we're tested in that same place, guess what? Actually, that works great if we match our study conditions to our test conditions. And that's true of our states of alertness. It's true of our time of day. It's true even of our mood. If those match, then recall and memory will be better. But what if I'm not tested in the same place I studied? So what if I'm tested in a classroom, which most students are? I'm obviously not able to study there. The advice here is to mix it up. You want to have multiple study locations to mix up that. That's called situational variability. And on a test, you'll do better. Not just a little better, by the way. The research shows that you can actually acquire 20% more simply by varying your locations. It's an amazing effect that results in more learning with no additional study time. This is, by the way, not just true of locations. This is true about how information, if you think about how information relates to other things you know, varying that up, or studying at different times, in different conditions, in different ways, in different moods. Any kind of thing you can do is to change it up is a good thing. The message here is vary up your learning. So, to learn more with the same study time, do what this guy's doing and mix it up.